This video is intended purely to communicate information in accordance with the right of free speech.
Any advice given is a suggestion, and anyone seeking such advice should consult a competent professional.
All statements made in this video are my own honest opinion, and they do not represent any other person or body. As such, sharing matters covered in this video is in public interest.
Hi, fancy meeting you here in this little old place. I'm Tish, and this is Echo Echo. So this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I would like to start covering my local politics and politics in Australia, because if we're going to learn anything from what's happening in America at the moment, it's that we need alternative voices in the media, and we cannot trust mainstream media anymore because of the billionaires who own the companies. There was a good Instagram from Antoinette Lattouf. Antoinette Lattouf says, journalists at the start of their careers, I want to give a voice to the voiceless and speak truth to power. Now, I've got a mortgage. It's complicated. And I added to that one, Fox journalists, I want to tell fairy tales and have a diverse stock portfolio. Well, Fox journalists, I needed to say, I want to lie straight to people's faces and be a bigot. I should have added that. Anyway, Antoinette Lattouf was fired from the ABC. She's currently in litigation for unfair dismissal, and I think she's won it, and it's under appeal at the moment. And the ABC for us is not the same as the American ABC. It's started out as mainly a government-funded sort of public broadcaster like PBS and BBC in the UK, and were very well known for being neutral. A lot of people thought they were left-wing, and they may have been a little bit more left-wing than right-wing, but definitely not, like, it was just news. It wasn't propaganda. Well, everything's propaganda, but it was generally a trustworthy news source, and that's not the case anymore. When I was in Brisbane a couple of weeks ago, aka Mean Gin, that's the traditional name for Brisbane, Mean Gin, for the Free Palestine, the year marking the year of the genocide, we marched from the city centre to the ABC building in Brisbane as a message to say, we want a little bit more neutrality and fairness in their coverage. They were covering Trump doing the sane washing and things like that. So I'd like to start doing some news, reporting, opinions, views, and just presenting what else is going on because we need it. I know my audience is small, but I don't care. I have a small platform, and we need to do whatever we can. They're coming for our rights in Australia because the trend is usually to follow America. My political allegiances, I used to vote Labor, and I'm a union rep for the Queensland Teachers Union. I'm left-wing, I'm anti-capitalist, anti-fascist, and I just joined the Greens Party. Yeah, so I'm left-wing. And I think that we're in late-stage capitalism, and we need to tear down the system. Easy, right? Easy? Anyway, so while I was distracted by the American election, and it was a hyper-focus, I was watching way too much of it, and it was stupid. But I suppose I might not be so inclined to action if I wasn't so angry about what was happening. But I tell you what, I haven't heard Trump's voice in nearly a week. It's been glorious. And I know he got elected, but it's great. Do I need to hear his voice to be an advocate, to be fighting against the system? No. So that's good because it makes me mad. Anyway, one of the other problems that happened while the American election was going on is that Queensland had a state election, that's where I live, and the Conservatives won that election. They aren't popular. It's mostly North Queensland is very conservative, and I lived in Cairns, which is far North Queensland. It is conservative. It's strangely conservative but it's not religion either. And that's where I don't think that MAGA mentality would come to Australia in the same way. There's racism, there's sexism, but it's just, that's what it is. It's not based on the Bible. It's not based on anything like, it's white supremacy, but it's not dressed up as anything else. It's just white supremacy. So conservative government I'm a government worker, a teacher, so that affects my life. However, the teaching profession at the moment is in shambles. It's people are leaving and they're finding it hard to keep teachers. So I don't think they're going to like F with the teachers. They might try to save some money, but like we have a strong union. We have a really strong union. So I think that anything we do is going to be strong. So that's my intro. If you have anything that you think I should cover, and like I know that this is going to be a little bit probably less for my anti-MLM people. So if you have never seen me before, my normal content is anti-MLM, anti-pyramid schemes, anti-scams, and that's part of my advocacy and anti-capitalist work. I think it's really important and I like it, so I'm not going to stop doing it. And yeah, so this might be, 2 people might see this, but that's okay. What I wanted to talk about today is the 4B movement. Okay. So one of the little whispers I was hearing while the Queensland election was on was that they were going to try to get rid of abortion laws, or they're going to fuck with the abortion laws, right? And I'm not 100% sure what the abortion laws are in Queensland. That's maybe what we can look at first. I'm supposed to be doing a university assignment, and but I've got a bee in my bonnet about this. So, okay, so the Termination of Pregnancy Act 2018 states that the termination of pregnancy is a legal medical procedure in Queensland. If you're up to 22 weeks pregnant, you may request a termination for any reason. I think beyond then, and with the approval of 2 doctors thereafter for a surgical termination. So I think that's fine. I have no problems with that. And I've had a termination when I was 20. How old was I? Geez, 23 or 24? When did I start teaching? I think I was 24 or 25. There's no huge story about it. I've not ever felt any regret or sadness because it was exactly what I needed to do at the time. I just finished uni. I was just about to start teaching. I didn't have a permanent house. I didn't have a permanent job. I'd been with my boyfriend for around about 2 months. He was abusive and ended up like assaulting me. So it was an easy choice and I've never regretted it. So that's the secret of not regretting an abortion is just being 100% behind your decision. I understand that is a privilege, and people who have late stage complications like an ectopic pregnancy, which is where the baby is not in a womb, they are growing outside of the womb or in the fallopian tubes, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And, where there are complications that it's going to harm the mother and so on and so on. Anybody who has an abortion in the 3rd trimester is not doing it as a form of birth control. By that time, people have picked names. They've had parties. They've got a room ready. They've got clothing. Okay? Those people are ready for a baby, and then there's some terrible things that happen where they have to make a decision to terminate a pregnancy like that. Okay? Because the fetus shouldn't have more rights than the mother. Yeah. So there was a woman who was talking about this in Queensland, and many men, and they can just fuck off out of that decision because it has nothing to do with you. If you were really pro-life, we would have free lunches and breakfast for schools, free schooling, what else? More money for parents, free daycare. If you are really pro-life, there would be a bunch of things that would make things easier for people to have children, but you don't do that. It's pro-birth. So another thing I wanted to add with which made me really want to start looking at advocacy work and fighting for our rights in Queensland and Australia, and, hopefully reflecting on the rest of the world. We need a third wave feminism, or maybe fourth. I think we're in the third, but we need a new wave. We need a new wave of feminism, and like the mindless scrolling, the doom scrolling. I was looking through because I was stuck on Threads for ages, and Threads officially gaslit by Threads. Okay, I thought, Kamala was safe and sound. Anyway, I got harassed on Threads because some man told me that I might have to get a real job, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so I went to his profile, and he's got 2 daughters, and I'm like, are you really harassing a woman about getting a real job with 2 daughters? Like, do better. Like, just a random person on the internet. So I was looking through my American friends' stories and just seeing how they were processing stuff. And one of my friends, she has a teenage daughter, 16-year-old, and she told a story of how her daughter got in trouble at school, but she's a goody two-shoes, so it was pretty rare. And what had happened is that a boy had cornered her at school, and she slapped him. Or no, she hit him, and there was some sort of physical contact because she felt threatened and she was being cornered. And anyway, she sent her mum this message saying, I'm going to get in trouble. Are you angry? And yeah, like she wasn't angry, the mum, but she was telling us the story. And then her daughter said, oh, mum, can, my friends come over for dinner? And this was the night of the election or the night after. And she said, yeah, no worries. Okay. And they were kind of like having a quiet, sort of like sullen little, pizza party. And then they started talking about their fears and what this means. And, like saying that they had been heckled at school and the boys were being silly and, disrespectful. Silly is not the right word, but, yeah. And my friend was just sort of communicating like her fears there and putting their fears into perspective and saying, like, you don't have to put up with that. You don't have to do all this. You can defend yourself. You do have power. And I'm hoping, like she's a strong ass bitch. Love, like that hopefully is going to give them some confidence and power. And she said, but she's also going to learn self-defense. And that reminded me of like there's these, like TikTok things where you get a scoop of like crystals and lip gloss and whatever, but you can also get like self-defense key rings. And I got stuck watching the key ring yesterday, but they kind of look like this. That's a seatbelt cutter and a window breaker, I think. There's personal alarms, there's pepper spray, taser, bedazzled taser, and usually some sort of, that's called Kubotan. That's a window breaker, but also would be a good stabby tool. Usually a knife, hidden in a couple of different things. Stylus or a door opener. That's a knife, key knife, whistle. I think that's a lip gloss holder. And then they usually just, throw on some other stuff to make it look like nice and aesthetic, fitting the aesthetic. So putting it all together onto a keyring. Yeah. So I got stuck watching them. So I recommended to my friend that she buy one of those self-defense key rings. Look, you don't have to get it off the TikTok shop, but I think it could be a good investment for any woman in America or all over the world, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. So if you're in the self-defense industry, the key ring self-defense industry, that could be a good investment for people going forward. Yeah. Yeah, so my friend also said that her daughter is going to take some self-defense lessons because there are incels like Nick saying your body, my choice, and other people chiming in and saying you don't have a choice if you don't want to give it to us. So the 4B movement may, you can close your legs or you can prevent access to us boys, but we'll just take it. And that's why self-defense is going to become a big industry for women. Yeah. And I don't think that they have seen the power of women really, because white supremacy and patriarchy go hand in hand. And I don't think that, like I know, I'm thinking of the Salem witch trials and that was women who were, you could put uppity women who were not the norm. I don't think you can burn witches at the stake anymore and get away with it. The witches, they're here today, and you can't burn us. Yeah. We are powerful. So all that to say, that's what's led me to looking into the 4B movement. And that's something I think we should think about in Australia. But first, we're going to start with an article from The Guardian. What had happened, let me open it. I saw this in The Guardian. Now, The Guardian doesn't always have the best, so they haven't been perfect on, what's it called, the election. I'll tell you what I do need to do. I need to get ground news. That's what I'm going to get. No man will touch me until I have my rights back. Why is the 4B movement going viral after Trump's win? So, 4B movement, if I can't have a say over my body medically, No Nut November is going to become No Nut Ever. Doing my part as an American woman by breaking up with my Republican boyfriend last night, officially joining the 4B movement this morning. Start the 4B movement in USA. Start the 4B movement in USA. Girls, it's time to boycott all men. You lost your rights and they lost the right to hit raw. 4B movement starts now. And here we've got, if we burn, you burn with us. So the 4B movement began in South Korea, where the women were staging a protest against secretly filmed spy cam pornography in Seoul in 2018. So the 4Bs what they are doing is boycotting. All right, man, look at these strong-ass women. Just a quick note, when I say women, I am also referring to trans women. Trans women are women. And I know a lot of these issues are relevant to our non-binary folk and trans men, people with uteruses, anything that affects those people is included. And if I haven't specifically said it, I apologize. I'm not trying to exclude anybody. And there are a lot of male feminists. There really are. You've got to start fighting for us. So, you know. And yeah, so intersectional feminism or bust. Thank you. Yes, I am going to go to Wikipedia. The 4B movement is a radical feminist movement which is purported to have originated in South Korea in 2019. Its proponents refuse to date men, get married, have sex with men, or have children. In the wake of Trump's 2024 presidential victory, the movement began to gain traction in the United States. So the tenets are Bisekusu, Bichulsun, Bayinai, Bihon. If that's bad pronunciation, I deeply apologize. No sex with men, no giving birth, no dating men, and no marriage with men. There's going to be some lesbians who are going to be like fucking pro at this, like totally. That's what I think we can start looking at in Australia. Let's not wait until we lose our rights to start boycotting things like this. We want to send a message, okay? Don't you dare take away our rights. I think of the women who have come before us who have fought tooth and nail for every little thing. I know Kamala Harris is a centrist, a liberal. She's co-sponsoring a genocide and so on. Previous to being sponsoring a genocide, she was an accomplished woman. And she worked very hard to do what she was doing. Like, so when she was born, women can get their own credit card. And now she's run for president. It's very strange that we have this, like, America progressive nation and they've never elected a woman. And places like India, Pakistan, Mexico, places that are considered to be more sexist than America have had female leaders. Australia's a little bit like that too. We have only had Julia Gillard, who a lot of people, and me at the time, thought stole the prime ministership from Kevin Rudd. And yeah, I didn't understand that situation at the time. And I think Julia Gillard's fucking amazing at the moment. So I was hoping Penny Wong was going to be our first elected female prime minister. But she's the foreign minister when we are complicit in a genocide. So that's not, I don't give a fuck what happens to her. I'm not pushing for her to be the PM. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, that's a little bit of information there. I think that we need to be talking about the issues and just saying, like what's out there. They're coming for our rights, and we cannot sleepwalk into fascism and be sane-washing people like Dutton, Pauline Hanson. And, like Pauline Hanson just lost a court case for telling Marine, how do I pronounce Marine? Farukai? I do not know how to pronounce her surname. But the Greens senator, she's the deputy leader of the Australian Greens and a senator for New South Wales, and she took Pauline Hanson to court because she told her to go back to where she came from, and Pauline Hanson lost that. So look, there are some good things happening in Australia. The Greens has a grassroots movement happening, and that's what I'm doing to start my advocacy and to start, doing something that helps even on this small scale. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And if there's any other specific issues to Australia and Queensland, let me know. I'm going to be hopefully doing a live with a guy that I met through the Greens, my local chapter of the Greens, and he is, he's a really interesting guy. And he's the reason why I got involved in the Greens, because he found me on Instagram, and so it should be really interesting. Just have a chat with him. He's led a very interesting life. I'll say that much. All right. Thanks for being here. Free Palestine, and I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.